If your cat sounds like this at night, your first thought was probably the same as most owners. Something is wrong. She is in pain. This is too intense to be normal. And then you saw the rest. She rolled on the floor. She lifted her back end when you touched her. She rubbed against the wall, the table, your legs, anything close enough to press against. She paced from room to room like she could not settle anywhere. She went to the door, came back, then went again. If you are seeing this for the first time, it does not look mild. It looks like a cat whose whole body is in distress. And there are a few signs that completely change how you read a night like this. Number 1, the scream sounds like pain because it hits you like an emergency. You hear it once, sit up in bed, and before you even reach her, she is already rolling, pacing, rubbing against the nearest surface, and crying again. That is why the panic starts so fast. Most owners do not panic because of one sound by itself. They panic because the sound arrives with a body language they do not recognize. You are not just hearing a cry. You are watching your cat act unlike herself in several different ways at once. And when that happens in the middle of the night, your mind goes straight to the worst conclusion. That reaction makes sense. But in many cats, this is not pain. This is a biological call her body cannot stop sending. Number 2, her body is already telling you what the sound means. Have you noticed how none of these behaviors come alone? The rolling, the rubbing, the tail shifting to one side, the back legs stepping in place, the restless pacing, the sudden urge to get near you, then near the door, then somewhere else again. It looks chaotic when you do not know what connects it. It is not chaotic. It is one pattern, one cycle, one message moving through her body again and again. And what confuses most owners even more is how early this can start and how quickly it can come back. That is the part almost nobody is prepared for, and it changes how you read everything you are seeing tonight. There is also one warning sign you should never ignore. If you ever see blood, abnormal discharge, or a real drop in her energy during this, that is not something to brush off. We will come back to that before the end. Because once you understand what this behavior is actually asking for, the whole night starts to look very different. Number 3, for a lot of owners, the real shock is how early this starts. You look at your cat and think, she is still a kitten. She is too young for this. That is one of the biggest reasons the whole experience feels so wrong the first time. But for some cats, heat can start much earlier than people expect, sometimes as early as 4 months. Many owners imagine this happening much later, and that is why the first cycle feels so shocking when it arrives. It is not just the sound that catches you off guard. It is the timing. You are still thinking in terms of kitten behavior, play, curiosity, clumsiness, short bursts of energy. Then suddenly, the whole mood of the house changes, and your cat is sending signals that feel far bigger than her size. That mismatch is what makes so many people assume something must be wrong. She looks young. The behavior looks intense. Your brain puts those two facts together and lands on fear. But what is happening is often simpler than that. Her body has reached a stage you were not expecting yet, and now it is pushing out a message she does not know how to mute. Number 4. Then comes the part that wears owners down the fastest. It comes back. A lot of owners think this happens once, passes, and gives everyone a long break. Then a few weeks later, it starts again. Same cry, same pacing, same rolling, same restless energy at the door. And this is the moment many people stop thinking maybe this is heat and start thinking maybe something is really wrong. That reaction is common because the cycle can come back much sooner than most people expect. A heat cycle often lasts around a week, sometimes a little less, sometimes longer. And if your cat is not spayed and does not mate, it can return again in just a few weeks. So when you say this is happening again already, that does not automatically mean something unusual is going on. It may mean your cat is following the cycle nobody warned you about in time. And once you understand that, a lot of the fear starts to change shape. Because now the pattern makes more sense, the age makes more sense, the timing makes more sense. But there is another reason some owners stay confused even after they learn all of this. Not every cat announces heat with screaming. Some cats go through the same cycle with much quieter signs. And if you do not know what to look for, you can miss it completely the first time. Number 5. Some cats go into heat without the scream people expect. And that is where a lot of owners get confused. They think, my cat never cried like that, so this must be something else. Or they think they missed the whole cycle because nothing dramatic happened. But some cats do not make the house shake with noise. They show it in quieter ways. They become suddenly more physical, more rubbing, more rolling, more insistence when they want contact. You pet her once, and her back end rises immediately. Her tail shifts to one side. Her back legs start that restless stepping again. She cannot settle, but she is not loud enough to trigger the same panic. That is why silent heat is so easy to miss. The cycle is still happening. The signal is still there. It is just coming out through the body more than the voice. And if your cat is naturally affectionate, this can be even harder to read. You may think she is just clingier than usual, just more affectionate than usual, just having an odd few days. But there is usually a pattern. It comes on. It takes over her body language. Then it fades. Then, after a while, it comes back again. Once you notice that pattern, a lot of old moments suddenly make sense. That week, when she would not stop rubbing on every corner. That night, when she kept rolling and getting back up again. That strange shift in the way she reacted to touch. And this is the part many owners misread. She can look needy and impossible to comfort at the same time. You sit down to calm her. She comes to you, presses against your hand, asks for touch, and then a second later she is moving again before either of you can settle. That is one of the clearest signs that this is not simple affection and not ordinary discomfort either. She is driven to seek contact, but the cycle does not let her settle into it for long. That is why the behavior can feel so intense and so repetitive. She is not trying to be dramatic. Her body keeps pushing the same signal back to the surface. If your cat has ever gone through something like this without the full screaming, tell me in the comments what you noticed first. The rolling, the rubbing, the pacing, or that tail shift when you touched her. And once you understand that pattern, the question changes. You stop asking, why is she acting like this? And you start asking the question that actually helps tonight. What should I do right now so I do not make this worse? Number 6. This is the warning sign we said we would come back to. A normal heat cycle can be loud, restless, repetitive, and exhausting. But it should not make your cat look truly sick. If you ever see blood, abnormal discharge, or a real drop in her energy, do not write that off as ordinary heat. If she seems weak, withdrawn, or genuinely unwell, that is when you stop assuming it is ordinary heat and call your vet. That matters because heat can look dramatic without being a medical emergency. The screaming, the rolling, the rubbing, the pacing, the constant push toward the door. Those can all happen in a normal cycle. What should not happen is a cat who looks physically unwell. So what should you do tonight? First, keep her fully indoors and make every exit harder to reach than usual. A cat in heat can become much more determined to get out than the cat you are used to the rest of the month. Second, keep the house calm and do not punish the behavior. You are not spoiling her by staying gentle. You are helping her through a cycle she does not know how to turn off. And if this keeps coming back, talking to your vet about spaying is not being harsh. For many owners, it is the moment the confusion, the noise, and the stress finally stop taking over the house. You thought that sound meant pain. A lot of the time, it is the sound of a body trapped in a cycle it does not know how to quiet on its own. Tell me in the comments what appeared first in your cat: the scream, the rolling, the rubbing, or the pacing. And if you want the next video, watch the mistake every owner makes after a litter box accident, because one reaction right after that first accident can make the problem much harder to fix.